Hi everyone, it's Tanji from Papercrafting Australia. Thank you for joining me for the fourth tutorial in the Crafternoon Box series. It is coming to you a little bit late because I've had a little bit of a technical hiccup, but I thought I was being a bit of a smarty pants, but I'll tell you more about that in just a sec. I think I don't know if there's a little bit of trouble going on with Facebook Live at the moment, but I'm getting a bit of an error message, so I do apologise if anyone is on Facebook Live and getting a bit of a strange option. YouTube looks like it's also not getting enough video to do smooth streaming, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay, we might be having a bit of difficulty. If anyone's on any of the streams at the moment, do you want to just shoot me a quick message just to let me know that you're receiving me okay, or if we've got any errors happening there? Oops. Don't know who's where. It looks like there's two people in on YouTube. Can you guys hear me or see me? Let me know how things are going. Otherwise, I might have to stop. Oh, hey, Carrie, I can see you're on Facebook. Is it all coming through okay? Excellent. Okay, cool. I always worry when the stream starts saying silly things. And I'm not sure what to believe. But anyway, we'll get on with things. I've got my little sparkly top on because I thought, well, we're doing something different. That's not our Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. So yeah, I thought I'd pop a little bit of bling on tonight and we'll go from there. Hi, Tony. Thank you for joining us. I hope you got home from work okay and everything went well for you there. I think there's a couple of people joining us on YouTube. So hello if you are on YouTube. Hi, Deb. Deb's jumped in. Deb, am I right in saying you're in WA? I might have that wrong, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm still getting used to who's from where. But that's all cool. So what I'm going to do is I'll jump over to our wonderful, I'll jump over to the overhead camera. Let me just jump in there and show you what we're going to be playing with tonight. So Tony, you can see me and hear me all right, but YouTube isn't working. That's poo. It seems to be working for Deb, I think. She's on making comments. Oh, you're in South Australia, Deb. Thanks for letting me know. That's okay. I know we've got a couple of Crafternoon boxes who come from WA, so I'm just kind of hoping that they're all well with the bushfires. So I don't want to, I hope they're not kind of tuning in well, they definitely won't be tuning in while they're trying to, deal with bushfires and things. So, but yeah, I hope if you're watching this later and you are from WA and you're in a bushfire zone, that you are safe and everything is okay for you and your family and friends. Yeah, so let's jump into the cards that we're going to do tonight. So this is all about using up all of these pesky scraps that you end up with. These are just the offcuts from making your Crafternoon boxes and cutting all of those pieces up. And you don't every project that you do, you don't really end up with this many, scraps. But I certainly have, and I want to show you how to kind of use those up. And that's by making a card like this. Just using those scraps. It's nice and easy to make a background that you can use for any occasion. You can use any color combinations that you like. So yeah, it's great to be a bit of a neutral gendered kind of card. So we'll go through making one like that. And then I've got this card that I made using the pattern paper that came out of, I haven't even got the other piece of it here, but this kind of card, the paper came with our January kit that you've all got. And it kind of just looks like floorboards made up of different pattern papers. And I've got some of the papers that I didn't use out of my Crafternoon box. I haven't kind of featured these ones yet. So I'm going to try and get this type of effect with scraps, just to show you that it doesn't have to be just plain colours of card. You could also use scraps of this. And I'm going to use, hopefully, depending on how I go, some of the Summer Garden pattern papers, which was our January release that didn't come in time to be able to be included in the kits. But I'm going to try and put something together using some of those as part of the kind of scrap. I know these are full pages at the moment, but I'm going to scrap them up and make some little sections and bits and pieces. So I'm going to do that. Now I've also got a new tape runner tonight that I'm going to try for the first time. So this is, it's just the same as the Bostik ones that I've been using to a degree. You can see they're quite a bit different in size. You know, you can see the little, I think you can see through the case there just how thin that little spool of tape is there, whereas this one is massive. So I'm pretty keen to use this. I'm a bit worried because it does say ultra permanent on this one. Permanent, I need my things to be on here, but it's certainly if you're worried about, you know, your cards falling apart before they get to people, I'm going to give this a go and see how it goes. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm just going to clear off a little bit of space so that I can work. How's everybody's week been so far? We all good, happy, well fed? I think this is kind of a nice time at night to be doing a bit of crafting because I've had dinner and normally I'd just be a potato and lay on the couch, but today I'm going to do a card. So that's something different. Cool. All right, let's try to find little spots off camera to pop all of these. Now these are just scrap pieces of card that I've got that I know are going to be the right size for the base layer that I'm going to stick all of these little scraps to. So I've got I've got white cards this week. You might still have, depending on what you've done with yours during the Crafternoon Box sessions, you might have a what's the colour called? Oh, it's like a beigey creamy coloured card, so kind of like this one. You might have one of those left, you might have white ones, you might have a craft coloured one, or you might have a completely separate one that you've got laying around. But I'm going to be using these. Now these are an A6, let's get this in frame, it's an A6 card base. So if you wanted to just cut from a piece of card and score it down the middle, these are the dimensions that you'd be cutting. So for those playing in inches, it's 5 13/16 of an inch and 4 by 2/16 of an inch here. So you just double that to get the full size of the card and then score at 4 2/16. Otherwise, you're doing 148 millimeters by 105. So you would obviously need to make that 210 millimeters to then score down the middle. So these work particularly well with an A4 piece of card. If you're wanting to cut that in half and do that, you'll find that that's quite good. So I'm just making sure that the score is mountain side up. So that's the raised side there. And then just folding that card over on itself. Trying to find your bone folder. It's floating around somewhere. There we go. Just giving that a bit of a burnish there. And I might as well do my other one while I'm here. Fold that over. Tony, what are you having for dinner? Tony's eating while she's watching craft. I hope you're not crafting at the same time. You're going to get food all over your craft. Too funny. All right. Off camera. Sure did. Stay safe in WA. Yes. So Carrie, the Bostik tape runners, Carrie's just asked on Facebook how much are the Bostik tape runners. These ones I think are about $6 or $7 at Big W and Officeworks, and then you can get refills so that you can just take all of these bits off and crack that off, and you just lift this section out of the middle, and so you kind of keep the outer shell, but this is all rubbish that you can't recycle. And yeah, craft's a little bit of a wasty type of thing, which is why I'm trying to reuse card and papers and bits and pieces that we would normally throw out. Worst case scenario with this kind of stuff, I would be putting it through my paper recycling that we have, but it's that whole world of like all this plastic stuff. It does really bother me, and I try and keep that down as much as possible in my kits and things, but sometimes that's not possible. And Carrie's colouring while she's watching. Good multitasking, Carrie. Excellent. All right, get on with it, Tangi. Let's go. Sorry, that's your card base size, guys. Now, what we're going to cut down is what I like to call a border or mat size. So normally on a card that I make, you would find that I would have one colour. So we have the outside edge of the card, and then you'll have a border colour, and then a really thin border, and then there would be like a pattern paper or a background piece that would go inside that. Tonight I'm not doing the inside piece, I'm not putting a border in, but we are making this base the size of the border. So for those of you who are, you know, cutting and measuring, I'm actually going to cut these scraps down because we're going to adhere all of these scraps onto this piece and then apply it onto your card base. So I'll just grab, where did I go? My trusty little cutter, which I'm going to do off camera because that's all good. So I'm going to cut this one based on these dimensions down here, so the border or mat. Now in your kits you would all have gotten a piece of white cardstock that you could use for this purpose if you haven't used it on another item, because you may well have. 2, 4, 6, 7 16ths. Well, I don't even need to cut that because it's actually the right size. But then I need to go to 3 3/4 here. So that's a half and that's 3/4. So once you've trimmed that down, I might just cut my other one for my second project while I'm at it, because that's just going to make life a bit easier. 2, 4, 6, 7. When I go to make that, if I've already chopped it down, and I can put this little cutter away and leave it off camera. So as you can see, like out of those pieces that I just needed, they're the 2 bases that I'm going to be using, or borders, and these are the scraps. So that's kind of just taking a piece of card that was an offcut from other things that I've been making, and just minimizing the wastage on that. So never throw away stuff. You can generally reuse it. All right, let's pop this in here. Ooh. See you bye, out the way. Okay, so to make these cards, it's really simple, and these are some of the best cards that my mum and I make with my nieces and nephew, because they just love getting involved and, you know, being part of the action. And this is something that they can really get involved in. So with your scraps, if you've got any, say if you've got thicker ones like this, you probably want to chop it down. Now the dimensions that I have found that were, you know, kind of worked really well on this card. So we're sort of looking at about 1 centimetre, or, you know, 12 millimetres wide, or ½ an inch for those of you playing at home, and then kind of smaller than that. So it just depends on what kind of pattern you want. You might want to do a whole bunch of really thin ones and do a lot of detailed work, or you might want to do something like this, which has got, you know, some thick and thin and bits and pieces in there. So totally up to you what you want to do. This one I would just pop through my trimmer again and just cut a strip. You are going to want pieces that run. If you're going to do a diagonal card, you're going to want at least one piece to be able to run that full diagonal of this piece of card. But I'll show you how to kind of get the most out of the cardstock that you've got available, so you can actually really minimize the amount of scrap strips that you're using. So to do this, I just get a tape runner. Feels really weird. You know when you kind of use a new tool and you're like, oh, this doesn't feel right, or you wear a new jumper or something. It's great. This glides on really smoothly. And you know what I like about this? It doesn't make noise. If I use this one, listen to this. You got to hear that rotary clickety-clack cog going around. That's something. I don't know. I don't know if that would mean that I wouldn't buy those again over this, but it's really smooth. Yeah, that's really nice. Cool. Happy with that. So as you can see on there, I've just kind of gone and put, you know, a fair bit of glue on there, on the glue runner, just to be able to give myself a fair bit of playing space. So the first one I'm going to put down, weirdly enough, is a craft piece on top of craft cardstock. But all I need to do is make sure that I'm going to go diagonal with this one again, just to kind of show you. So you just need to have it just off the edge there and just off the edge there. Now there's nothing to stop you from doing this horizontal or doing it vertical, and depending on which way you're going to have your card, you might want it to be a portrait or a landscape, so that might influence your decisions. And then it's just a matter of going along. And this one, so this is kind of, nice plain cardstock. This one's got a bit of getting taped here, it's getting taped here, and it's getting taped up here. So there's plenty, even though it's not got tape under here, that's plenty of points for it to be able to adhere and keep stuck to the card. So you can see here, if I was to flip this over, when we're kind of getting to a point where we've got a lot of the card made, we can just trim these bits off. We can also cut along here, and then these offcuts we can go back on and put into some of the smaller bits. So if you were only using 2 different colors and just interspersing them, you can actually kind of get quite a bit of the card out of just a couple of strips. So we'll, yeah, it's super handy. Oh, there's my brother's dog, George, deciding to bark at the neighbors. George! Oh dear. He's staying with us for a while because they're in the middle of getting some renovations done. I'm just going to quickly jump in and make sure there's nothing anybody's asking. No. Amazing. Tony's having grilled fish and salad. Delicious. Might have fish tomorrow. We'll see. So basically just go along and cover the entire front of your card with the scraps that you've prepared. So this one I've got like this nice little teeny tiny thin one. Just overhang it off the end there. And then I've got a little bit of this green one. Pop that down. So here in Melbourne it's been pretty warm today. And I think we're meant to get rain through at about midnight. So it's supposed to be a really rainy, wet, yucky day tomorrow, but that's the kind of weather I love. So you just need to trim, hold your scissors against the card and just trim that nice and straight. Maybe cut the whole way through would be good. There you go. So now you can see, I mean, I've covered some of the card. These are all stuck on, but I've got these little strips that have come off. So I can actually go back in and, I mean, I might want to do this one. This is a symmetrical one to go against everything that Carrie believes in. So because I've cut that one off, it's kind of, I could line it up with the edge already, and just pop those onto that edge. Now the great thing about this Kaiser Craft cardstock that we're using is that it does have that woven side and the smooth side. So you could also play with doing the same color all the way across, but just flipping it backwards and forwards between you could alternate different thicknesses, but also alternate between the weave side and the smooth side. So that would be something that we could try. Just keep layering. It's a bit like Dory. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Here we go. Oh, who's got their February kits already? There's a couple of you have been messaging today. Tony, I think you got yours. And I know you guys are really excited about them, and I'm super happy about that. They were so much fun to put in and put together. But if you happen to be watching this and it's before the 6th of February and you would like to get your hands on the next Crafternoon box, which is our March Crafternoon box, that's actually on sale until Saturday this week, the 6th of February. So you've got 2 days left to let your friends know that that's on sale, and then that will be gone. Once the due dates are gone, we don't sell the boxes or the card of the month kits as a solid kit after that. it would just be, you would have to buy each piece individually. So some of the items we've got available in our store, some will be going in shortly, but you can't get your hands on the complete kit, and some of the bits and pieces that we have in the kit won't be available through our store. So yeah, oh Deb, you've got your kit. Amazing, your Crafternoon box. Excellent. Judy's got hers today, but hasn't opened it yet. Well, you're a good girl. Are you waiting till Saturday for the next live? Or you might have a sneak peek later on. I wouldn't be able to help myself if I got craft. Actually, no, I tell a lie. I've had a few orders come this week for different things, and I haven't opened anything. So I think I've been fairly well behaved. Or I've just been too busy to do things. Something, I don't know, something like that. Just trying to find amongst here another thin piece. Yeah, it looks like they're all kind of about the same. Just another bit of pink because because it's been in the middle, I've used most of that. Let me get back to a screen where I can make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing. So obviously when we get these bits from Kaiser Craft, and I'm using these scraps because I don't want it to go to waste, but because they do this awful printing, they do, the 12 by 12 inches does get you to here on the cardstock, but then they print this barcode and all kinds of other stuff on the bottom. So I can only really use this amount of the card if I use this side, but I can, like the woven side, I can use all of it. So it's not all a waste. And those little strips, the little strips off the bottom of that cardstock are just the perfect thing to come back and use for a card like this, I find anyway. Now I'm going to do some fun stuff maybe a bit later in this month because it's my birthday later in the month. So I had a big birthday last year just before COVID happened and we all got locked down. So last year my boyfriend took me hot air ballooning, which I'd never done before, and it was kind of on my bucket list, and he totally surprised me. And I had to get up at stupid o'clock in the morning, and we drove in. We live in the western suburbs in Melbourne, so we had to drive in to the city and wait in the freezing cold. Although it wasn't freezing cold at this time of year, so it wasn't too bad. But so we waited around at, I think it was the Grand Hyatt in the city, and we met a whole bunch of other people who were coming on with us, and off we went out to kind of like near Punt Road Oval kind of thing, like where the footy is. It was out that way anyway. And yeah, got set up, we had to help set up the hot air balloon, and yeah, we flew over the city all the way over to Essendon Airport, and then they got us in a minibus once we landed, and it was really nice, smooth landing. And then we came back to the Hyatt and had a beautiful buffet breakfast. I don't know that any of that kind of stuff could go on at the moment. I know they can do the hot air balloon tours because they've been doing it, but I don't know if hotels are doing buffet breakfasts at the moment because of COVID. I feel like that might have all changed. But anyway, we won't be doing anything crazy and extravagant this year like that because that was a 0 birthday last year. And this year it's not as exciting, so it won't be much this year. To be honest, I'd be happy with a plate of cheese. So we'll see what comes. So basically with the card, just kind of, when you get to the edges, just double check how much space you've got at the end. You might need to put a thicker piece on that corner or pop some extra glue on to kind of be able to keep that down or hold it down. Only because if you put 2 tiny strips there and you haven't put enough glue in, it's just the piece is going to constantly fall off. So that would be a bit of a disaster. Tony said, "It's so good. I didn't know where to start. I opened mine straight away." Yeah. I'm pretty excited, guys, because Carrie, am I correct in saying that you're going to do one of your sessions on Saturday morning with your Crafternoon box? And Carrie doesn't play by the rules, so Carrie will be making gosh knows what, something amazing. What have we got? Yeah, Carrie, people can place an order on Saturday, so up until midnight, and then Sunday I'll do all the ordering. Judy said she's got 3 craft parcels arrived today. Haven't opened any of them. Busy at work, so too tired. Open them all tomorrow. Well, I hope you haven't got work tomorrow, Judy, because that will be a fun day if you've got 3 packets of craft stuff to play with. And Carrie said, yeah, it was my 20th birthday and this year's my 21st. Exactly right. How did you guess? We never tell. We never tell. Carrie, just let everybody know what time you're on Saturday morning, just so if they want to join you over on Carrie's Crafts. I'll pop a link up afterwards so that everybody can, or pop your Facebook link in the comments. I'd love for people to kind of go and see what Carrie does. Hopefully she's going to sing you a song at the start or all the way through. That's always fun. All right, stop rambling, Tangy. There's half an hour gone. Okay, so that's basically, once you've trimmed off, and I've got a few loose edges there that I would probably normally just pop a little bit of liquid glue under just to get right to the edge. But for the moment, I'm just going to keep moving on so that we don't kill too much time. So yeah, I can tape that down. Ugh. The only thing about this at the moment is that's bugging me is getting the lid off. But I think it's just because I don't know. There's probably a trick to it and I just haven't got my tongue held the right way yet. It's just a bit of glue. Excellent. I'm just trying. So my little tip or trick for trying to get this to sit where it, is going to be kind of easy is to hold your background of whatever you've made, kind of give it a bit of a bend so that it goes down in the middle, because I find you can kind of get things so that you can see that it's fairly even, whereas if you're trying to do it straight down, you're bound to get it a bit crooked at some point. So I just give it a little bit of a bend in the middle, kind of work out that it's roughly in the right spot. And then I kind of just drop it to see, just let it float down. And then once you kind of think it's in the right spot, give it a bit of a press down. Does anybody use a tape runner at the moment? And if so, what tape runner do you use? That's my question for you. Cool. Okay, so that's that part of my card. I was just thinking I had, oh, here they are. So that doesn't really go all the way across, but I did kind of like that, sitting up a little bit. I don't know, what do we think? I'm going to go on there, or I could just kind of pop maybe just one of these guys on here. I don't know. I'm a bit out of sorts tonight. I don't really know what I want to put on here. Let me just get one of these blocks. We'll do a happy birthday. Here we go. So kind of just getting it back in like the first one that I did. So this one I put a belly band on just so that it broke up the lines a little bit. This one I think I'm quite happy with, but what I would like to put on it is I want to just dirty up the edges of this block, this greeting block. It's I don't know, it's just a bit too pristine, but this kind of just gives you the opportunity to make it your own and get it to fit any kind of occasion. So this is just an ink cube I've just pulled off my desk. I actually think it's a Kaiser Craft one. which I find takes a little bit longer to dry. So I'm probably not going to try and flip this over and stick it on straight away, because I'm inevitably going to end up with junk everywhere. Cool. Let's get it a bit of, just a bit rustic. Clean edges are not always the best. So a bit of black doesn't hurt. I think what this card is really screaming out for is that colour behind. So a border or a mat around, which would be really good. And in this case, now that I've put black on here, a black mat around would be really cool. But this is not so terrible. Tony's using Gina K's tape runner. Yes, that's fantastic. So Carrie's Facebook Live, guys, will be about 9 o'clock on Saturday. And Carrie says she uses the Tombow tape runner. So, but it's very expensive. I've never used that one, Carrie, so I don't know. But I can vouch for the little cheapy boss stick. He definitely works. Very cool. All right, so I'm not going to finish that card just yet, because I just need this to kind of dry. So I'm just going to stick that aside for a moment. We got black ink all over my hands now. Time for a baby wipe. There we go. This cleans everything. You know, I was talking about waste just before. This is probably one of the most wasteful things you could do. I have actually just got a Gina K tidy towel, and I haven't opened it yet. Maybe I'll open it for Saturday's thing on. I'll tell you all how it goes. So for the moment, I've just got, you know, this little microfiber guy. Dry things off. He's pretty good. All right, so pop that out of the way. Pop these guys out of the way. I'm done with that. Dump that over there. And pop these little guys over here in case people are still following that to cut their next pieces. So again, cut a piece of card that you can use as a base for your background for the second card. And this time I'm going to use some pattern paper, and I'm going to try and do another horizontal kind of pattern, similar to this guy. And I'm going to use some of these. I kind of feel like I've got a bit of a blue theme that I want to try and do, and I don't know if that fits in, but I mean, it kind of does. Just ignore that green under there. That's going to get covered up. So then I'll have a look at the blue, just the blue papers that we got from the January Summer Garden pattern papers. Now you guys will all be really excited with your February and March kits, because you've got the pattern papers that are exclusive to Papercrafting Australia. They are in your kits. So they'll also be available on the website. So once the kit comes out and the month starts, you'll be able to get those on the Papercrafting Australia store. So you can see that these are just the right size to fit inside this A6 card and make either the border or the smaller pattern paper or background layer. And then you only have to cut off, like, I don't know, is it a centimetre? Yeah, it's about a centimetre. So then you've got, oops, just that one strip that you would cut off, and that would be a background for a card. So that's why we've done them in this size, because there's such a little amount of scrap that will come off it. So if you were cutting, you know, a 6x6 and you cut a card front out of that, all of this and all of this generally becomes waste that you possibly won't ever use on another card. So we went with the small ones just because we are doing a lot of card making. This is more for if you're doing a bit more scrapbooking or something like that. It's not the big 12x12 sheet, but there you go. So pop those pattern papers over there, and I'll get to cutting just some strips to put on here. And I can cut this one this way, it'll still fit. Just going to cut a few little tiny, probably only need one or two of each to make it happen. I certainly don't recommend that you start cutting good papers, but you've probably got some bits and pieces that are lying around in your Crafternoon box that you cut off some of your other projects. That would certainly be something that you could use if you want to have a go at doing this with some slightly different papers, or you don't want to use your cardstock. Might go this way because then I've got a little bit of extra plate. Now I'm not measuring these strips at all, I'm just cutting some tiny little bits off here to play with. Fingers crossed this all works out, because I haven't done this. I've just kind of seen this piece of paper with the boards on it and thought, I wonder if we could do that with other patterns as well. Which I think the answer is yes, but we are about to find out. This is a bit of a, oops, pretend these are all offcuts little thing, which hopefully we don't all make this much mess. There we go. I think that will be enough, but I'll keep those nearby just in case I have to cut a couple more. All right, so I'm going, oh, that's going to be plenty. I'm going to go this way because I haven't done one in portrait mode. So let me just pop that over there with that one. Okay. So this is just the same process as we had before. So we've got all of our little bits and pieces. Now I'm going to try and fix this onto the smooth side, which I had. Just a bit of tape runner, as close to the edge as you can get if you're using this, just so that you don't end up with those bits lifting up like I had before. And whoopsies, a couple of strips down the middle just so that there's an extra point there for them to stick to. So I'm going to start in the middle. Yeah, getting stuck with things. Now the only thing I would say about this one is that, look, it's possibly better to start at one end so that you can kind of line your end up with the end of your card, or hang just over, but you're kind of going to get a bit of a straighter line if you're after a straight line. Otherwise, if you start here, chances are I'm going to kind of do that with it and then it's not going to be straight. The other thing you can do is, if you have a mat that has straight lines on it and you want to stick something in the middle, I've got underneath my work surface here, don't know if you can, oh, you can't see that side, but I've got a Tim Holtz glass media mat with all the lines and bits and bobs on it, and that is really handy for when you're trying to do things straight. But what I would do is just find a place to put your card so that it's as straight as you can get it and kind of lined up with some lines somewhere. Then holding your piece of paper or cardstock, you can line it up either side of that card and you know that you're pretty close to straight before you stick it down. So that's how I would start, in if you want it to start somewhere in the middle rather than starting from the end. But up to you, that's just a little handy tip of how I kind of find the middles of things. You'll also sometimes see me do it if I'm trying to line up like a greeting block like this and I just want to see if it's straight. I might use my mat, but sometimes I just wing it. If it goes straight, it goes straight. So again, just layering these little pieces, butting them up next to each other, and then just pushing them down. Let's see how this goes. I kind of realise I've just, wasted some big sections off here, but these weren't ever going to be big enough to go across that whole width again. So I don't feel too wasteful about that. Now I want a little bit of a, oops, A little bit of a little section here. Push that in, a little bit of floral up here. The tricky thing with this bit is that some of these papers are a little bit thicker and a little bit thinner than each other. So oops, let's see how, oh shoot, yeah, that's pretty permanent. That easy runner tape. Ultra permanent is relatively permanent, yes. All right. Now that I've lifted it, I think I kind of need to lift the whole thing back up. Look, it is letting me lift it. It's tough, but it hasn't taken any, you know, kind of much paper off the back. There's a couple of little tabs there, but not a huge amount. But I'll try and get this a bit more better buttered up to the next one, so there's not a gap that you can see the undercard on. Before I stick that down, what colour next? What piece next? I might go another sky piece up here. Here we go. I've done it to myself. So I've gotten this little strip at the top, which is fine because I've actually got my tape runner going all the way to the edge, and there's enough that's holding this piece on here. So I didn't do too terribly with that. That's good. Could have been a whole lot worse. So I think at the top I'll put a little piece of this up here. Oh, how are we all going? I know lots of you are just eating food and, you know, chilling out. Oh, hey, Mum's here. Hi, Sharon. Arrived late because you were distracted by another crafting project. Are you cheating on me with other crafting projects? Oh. Carrie, if it's not straight, it's called artistically offline. I like that. We might have to make one of our art prints that says that. That's pretty cool. I like that. Awesome. Hey, Sharon, this is one of your favourite projects to do with the grandkids, am I right? I said that at the start, but you weren't here to hear it. But I know it is, and I know they've made some pretty awesome cards that they've been really happy to, you know, gift to their friends at school and their other nan and mum, and it's they love making it. You know, and it's, hey, it gets rid of all of our scraps, so it's a really cool project to do with the kids. Okay, can't get my bits in there. Have I got? Yeah, I reckon I've got to go this way. Except that's too big. Oh, I've snookered myself. All right, this happens. This happens. Kind of didn't want to bookend the top and the bottom with the same pattern, but I'm gonna do it. Deb, you use the Boss Stick tape runner. It's pretty good, isn't it? I just think like it's really handy if I've forgotten to order other tape runners that I can just whip off to Big W, which is like 2 minutes in the car, and I can get some more. So it's more that I'm not organised enough sometimes. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting looking card, huh? I wonder if I could just stick that to the card front. There's nothing to stop you from doing something like that and leaving things a little bit, you know, a little bit wide. But it's not going to fit in my envelope if I do it that way. So I'm going to chop these guys off. Just chop them off. So again, it's just hold your scissors along the cardstock and trim away. Oh, maybe Sharon's been making my birthday present. Sharon, what have you been making? Oh, you're making wedding invitations. That's okay. Carrie, we should have a page for your Carrieisms. I think that's great. Hello, Bridget. I don't know if you've been here all along, but if you have or if you haven't, either way, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Now, fun little crazy craft. We're not normally on a, what day is it today? Thursday. Thursday night. All right, so I need to fess up, guys. So we had a technical issue on the weekend with not being able to do the Saturday at 2 o'clock. So I pre-recorded tutorials, set them to upload, and I don't know whether my computer turned itself off and reset, or the power went out, or YouTube had a hissy fit, I don't know. But yeah, it didn't happen. And we had gone away for the weekend to my partner's dad's house. So we were 2 hours drive away from anywhere. I had no craft things with me, and there just wasn't a way to get anything happening. So that is my technical difficulty for last weekend. So I do apologise. All good intentions to have it all work, but it didn't. So that's life. But here we are on a Thursday night doing this anyway. So I think I've actually come up with something that I kind of like here. I'm kind of happy with this. It's, you know, normally I would be very much like, okay, my greeting has to go the same way as the rest of my card. But I think this is going to work horizontally. And I know I said I was doing a vertical stripe, and it will be, but it just won't be a portrait mode card. So I've got this little one that says beautiful. I like that. I like that. All right. I'm committing to it. Oh, hang on. Once I get my tape runner in the right spot. This one also feels like when you stop and lift up, you don't have to, might have spoke too soon. But with a lot of the tape runners, you've kind of got to do this little kick off to the side to get it to break smoothly instead of, I don't know if you can see this. See how that's nice and smooth there, but this has got like a little bubble of glue that's like, it's just a bunched up bit of the glue, because as it actually stretches and then snaps off and leaves a blob there. So for some papers, when you put that on, that's going to be a little bit of an issue. It might leave a little bit of a bump. Most things, doesn't matter. I don't think anyway, because I just kind of go, it's, you know, it's a handmade card. There's going to be some slight imperfections, but you can avoid that by, you know, dragging the glue runner down and then just going at a right angle directly off, and it, you know, pulls the tape off nice and cleanly. And I was going to say that this one felt like you didn't have to do that, and then it did it to me. So, well, you know, things happen. They probably all have a little bit of that action to them because of the way they're made and how they operate. Yeah, Deb's tried a few tape runners. Not doing Saturday worked for you. You were away for the weekend too, Carrie. Where did you go this time? Seem to be getting away a lot, which is nice. All right, so I'm going to, so this is just one of the little border cutout pieces that came in the kit this is from the Kaiser Craft Flower Shop collectibles. So that was one of the bags of all of the bits and pieces that you got in the kit. So we do have some of those that I'm about to pop back into the store. So if you didn't get the January, God, remember what month this was, Tangi. If you didn't get the January kit, and you really like these little pieces that, you know, you've seen throughout the last couple of tutorials, they'll be on the shop. I'll try and get those uploaded tomorrow. This little beautiful thing, I'm just going to pop a little bit of liquid glue on this because I want to be able to wiggle it around a bit, and it's a little bit, this is a little bit too big and bulky to be able to pop on there. So, and I kind of only need to do it on mostly the bottom half. Oops. Now I'm putting glue on my work surface. I'm just going to rub that around a bit. Yeah, because I want this to sit off the top of that little border. Just pop a little bit of glue on there. Now guys, we've also got a Gina K Designs order going in on Sunday this week. So if you've got anything Gina K that you would like to order, she's just had a bunch of cardstock come back in, and I know that the white layering white cardstock is back in stock. It goes in like 3 days when they put it on the store. I've already popped in an order to make sure that I secured some. She's also just released recently some blending brushes. They're white, and you can buy them in a pack of 2 and a pack of 4 or a pack of 10. And the pack of 10 comes in this gorgeous holder that you can slot your brushes in, and it comes with color clips. So you can get these, they've got these little clips so that for each of your 10 brushes you can allocate them a different color of the rainbow, and that way you will constantly just use that brush for that type of color. So they're really fantastic. I haven't used them yet, but by all accounts, everybody who's been buying them and has already received them in the first round is totally stoked. She's got some great master layouts dies that you know, you can use to, rather than having to cut the size of the border and the size of the background that you're wanting to do, you can actually use the master layouts dies, and they all kind of coordinate with each other. There's squares. There's now the Master Layouts Dies 4 has some love hearts and little flag strips. It's just, there's some amazing stuff. And I know that she's going to be bringing some more Master Layouts dies to us very soon. And they look amazing. So it's a really cool tools. Obviously her cardstock is fantastic. And if you've got the which month? February kit that you're starting to receive, you'll notice that you have some pink cardstock, Gina K cardstock in your kits this month. So have a look, have a feel. It's really amazing. I will pop into the March orders for the Crafternoon box because we're going to be doing some ink blending and stenciling in March. I'll pop a little sample of that in so that at least one of your pieces will be done on that cardstock and one will be done on another type of cardstock, so you can see how amazing it actually is. It's super smooth. It's perfect for blending. It's just what you want. So yeah, if you, after Gina K Designs, lots of people love her Connect glue, which is a lot like this one, but nothing's ever within reach when I want it. It's somewhere in my craft mess. But yeah, very similar pen-like applicator, and it's the glue is just phenomenal. So that's available. Of course, there's the tidy towels. There's a massive range of stamps and dies. So yeah, if you're after that, get those in on orders in on Saturday, because I'll be ordering on Sunday, and yeah, no rest for the wicked when it comes to ordering. But I think we need to bling these up just a little bit. Why not? It's going to be a little bit tricky and just put a bling on that eye dot there. It's not really a dot, it's more of a apostrophe. Just something different. Maybe we'll put, just going to cover that one there. Yeah, that'll do. One there. A couple of little ones. I did find that I liked these little spots in this little scallop section, just as a little bit of a feature along here. Now, I was going to say, maybe because I'm doing the tweezering off camera, it's going so well for me tonight, but that was actually on, so that's good. You've actually seen that I can, now I've talked too soon. I can pick up gemstones with tweezers without them flinging off to every corner of the craft room. Excellent. All right. I wanted this one to sort of stay a little bit plain. I don't know if you can see that little diamante on there, a little rhinestone. But yeah, he's doing his thing. Maybe I need to put one in each corner. Let's do that. This often gives it just a little bit of a feature, almost like a, I want to say a stud. That's not what I mean. It's a, I don't know. Run out of words for the day. It must be time to shut down. Stop talking, Tangy. Okay, so let's get those out of the way, because if you're up to that bit, you probably need to rewind and start again. So they're the cards. So these were the example ones that I did. These are the twists that I've kind of put on a few of them. This one I'm not completely happy with, but it's you know, I might take that that block off and do something a little bit different with it later on. But I'm really happy with that one. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump back to this camera so you can see my lovely face. I'm a bit tired. It's you know, it's nearly 9 o'clock on a Thursday night. It's time for a bit of a snooze. So yeah, it's been lovely to spend some more time with you guys. I'll just go through the last of the messages and things like that on YouTube and Facebook. So if you've got anything that you want to ask, or you know, want to let me know something, jump on quickly to YouTube or Facebook and let me know. So Carrie went to Taree. Oh, Carrie's partner's a shooting man. Okay, excellent. Having a huge battle with yourself at the moment, had so many ideas to use the Crafternoon Box bits, but wanted to wait and see what you have planned with it too. So for everyone who's got the February kit, so we're going to be making a shaker card. So you've seen all the little sparkly bits and pieces that you've got in there. I thought I had a kit within reach, but I don't. So yeah, so we're going to make a shaker card. We're going to do 4 different cards throughout the month, and some of the acetate that you'll find in there we're going to use for 2 different cards, so one for the shaker card and one for another one. And we're going to make a little rolled paper rose shadow box. So you'll have seen the little kind of cardboard box cut out in there, so that's all coming. But yeah, look, Carrie, I'm keen to see what you make out of it, because it's one thing for me to have an idea, but we've all got different ideas when we get those little bits and pieces. So yeah, I hope everyone's enjoyed what we have done tonight, just with using up your scraps. Please post your photos of your little works. I'll put mine up in a minute. I'll take a photo and put it into Facebook, just so that we can share that with people who might potentially be looking to, you know, buy the Crafternoon Box or the Card of the Month kit, which is the smaller version. But yeah, share your photos. I'd love to see how you've interpreted using up your scraps and which scraps you've used, because they may not be, or they, look, to be fair, they won't be anything like the scraps that I've used, so there'll be lots of different interpretations. And you know, you guys had lots of little bits and pieces left from the Kaiser Craft collectibles things that were in your box. So yeah, I'm really keen to see that. For those of you who have got the February box, we will be back on Saturday at 2 o'clock, and it's 2 o'clock Melbourne time, so Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Anyone who is wanting to order for our March kit for the Card of the Month or for the Crafternoon Box, that will be on sale until the end of Saturday. So come Sunday morning when I get up and close those all off, there will be, if you go on and buy that day, you'll actually be buying the April kit, which you're more than welcome to do, but I haven't released that one yet, as in I haven't shown everyone what's going to be in it, so you would be kind of taking a lucky punt, which, look, based on January, February, March, I think everyone will agree that that's you're in for a treat anyway. So I can tell you the April kit is going to be fun to play with, and there's going to be a lot more stamping and mucking around with that kind of stuff. So more techniques and things. We've kind of done the basics throughout January of sticking things together and layering things up, so now we'll be working on some more fun techniques with some blending and using our ink pads more. So yeah, it's going to be super exciting, and of course you've seen the February kit's got dies in it, so we're going to be doing some die cutting. So anyway, no other questions have come through, so I'm pretty cool to let you guys all go. So just let anyone know who might be interested in Gina K products or the next month's Card of the Month kit or Crafternoon Box that they've got until the end of Saturday to get their orders in. But thanks for joining me on a Thursday night. I'll catch you all on Saturday.